Now, we now come to the last part of the morning. ECGI has a working paper series. It actually has two working paper series. It has one working paper series in law, and it has one working paper series in finance. And the ambition of these two series is that they put out the best research in progress on any particular topic, including the types of topics that we've heard about from Per this morning. Now to provide an incentive for people to submit to the series, but also to honor their work, two organizations have agreed to sponsor a prize for the best paper respectively in the law series and in the finance series. And these two organizations are Allen & Overy, the law firm for the law series, and Standard Life Investments for the finance series. Now we have two editors for the series. One of them for the law series is Luca Enriquez from the University of Oxford, and I invite you, Luca, to come up to the front, who is going to announce the prize in law. And we have the finance series that is edited by Ernst Mauck at the University of Mannheim. Now, Ernst, unfortunately, cannot be here today, so I'm going to stand in for Ernst. And if you know Ernst, I look nothing like Ernst. I don't even speak like Ernst. Now, unfortunately, Standard Life Investments, Mike Everett, who has been faithfully giving out the prize for several years now. He could also not make it for today, but we have nobody to stand in for him. So I'm just going to announce the prize and read some words to you from Ernst and tell you who's won and why they've won. So the 2016 prize, Standard Life Investments prize for the best paper in the finance series goes to Maria Sunta Gianetti from the Stockholm School and her co-author Menjin Xiao from the University of Alberta for a paper entitled Board Diversity and Firm Performance Volatility. Now, why has the paper won the prize? I will read you what Ernst has said, and I'll try to do this without my reading glasses. When I fail, I shall put them on in a second. I realize that the message of this paper may be controversial. The message is that diversity on boards increases volatility. Okay, so that's a pretty, we see rolling eyes from the chairman. As public debate and political correctness requires to see diversity on board as something uniformly beneficial. However, this paper contributes to what seems to be an emerging alternative viewpoint, namely that diversity has also the downside of leading to less coherent decision-making if board members do not share a common perspective. Now, if you look at the paper, the way the paper does this is it looks at variability, and it then measures diversity on US boards. And one factor that it identifies in particular is ancestry. So it has a database of 300,000 director names, and geographers have developed an algorithm to determine your ancestry based on these names, and they then give this into the algorithm and find out the ancestry. And that gives you one measure of diversity, and they use others. But this measure, in fact, is very much correlated with volatility. Okay, and then they explain why that is. So I think it's a very innovative paper that uses these techniques from other fields, so that's very innovative. Now, however, and I cannot resist abusing my position slightly here, and we could have a debate. If you look at Table 1, there is, however, given that a board is diverse, you get more volatility. If you look at Table 1, there's another remarkable fact in here, that out of all these directors, if you take all these surnames, 80% originate, their ancestry is from the British Isles, and most of them are white, and most of them are men. Okay, so this is a little fact of diversity that I give you here from the paper, and you might want to read it. It's very interesting in all sorts of respects, And I'd like to thank Standard Life Investments again in their absence for sponsoring the prize. It's a really important gesture for research, and we're very grateful to them. So with this, I hand over to Luca to tell you about the Allen and Overy Prize for the Law Series. Luca.
Thank you. Oops. I hope you didn't notice who the winner is from the fourth slide, but if you weren't quick enough, so we had to choose from 33 working papers in law this year, and the choice was not easy. And of course, the reason we chose this paper was because it was the best. But to be more precise, the paper we chose is one which starts like a historical overview of basically corporate governance scholarship, starting from the narrow vision of lawyers back in the 60s to the broader vision of the smartest among the lawyers, together with the economists and the financial economists, of course, and in a movement that goes from simplicity to complexity, and from monodisciplinarity to interdisciplinarity, that integrates not only economics and finance, but also political sciences literature. And it does so with a very recognizable ability to contextualize, and as the lawyers would like to say, systematize the main ideas that have come from these various fields. And so in short, if this was a work of art, I think we can analogize it to the late Roy Lichtenstein's works about 20th century art. There are the original painters there, but the hand is definitely Roy Lichtenstein. And so this is the case with this paper as well, which then switches into sketching out in broad brush strokes. Again, Lichtenstein, I don't have the slide with, but you may be familiar with other paintings of his, recent paintings of his, in which he uses these stylized broad brush strokes. And he uses these to provide a critique of the most common single factor governance models, or unidimensional corporate governance models, i.e. the stakeholder theory, the shareholder primacy theory, the director primacy theory, and as I said, in broad brushes, it provides a critique of these models, arguing that it's a complex subject. It's not only about corporation, but also about their interaction with other factors and with, I would say, society and the political system as a whole. So it is my pleasure to announce you that the winner of the 2016 Allen and Overy Prize is Professor Ronald Gilson for his paper From Corporate Law to Corporate Governance. Please, Ron. And of course, the floor is, so in my capacity of Allen and Overy Professor of Corporate Law in Oxford, here is the prize for you, Ron, and also the microphone, if you would like to say a couple of words.
I think I have three things to say. The first is that I'm very happy that Luca doesn't work for Price Waterhouse, because I suddenly had this notion that he'd have gotten the name wrong, and it really was Warren Beatty who received it. I guess maybe the second point is there's an underlying point into the paper which Luca frames, which reflects the third point, which is how remarkable ECGI is along a dimension that doesn't necessarily show up, which is It is the only organization that I've ever had any involvement with in which sophisticated lawyers and others who care about the shape of institutions are matched with sophisticated empiricists, sophisticated modelers, with the expectation that they really will talk to each other, and the explanatory outcome of what they all do is going to be better for it. Lots of organizations talk like that, but ECGI really does it, and they've done it for years. And in that respect, it's as the leadership of that organization warrants my gratitude, but really everyone's gratitude, because again, that integration is necessary to understand the world, and nobody else does it even close to the way this organization does. That said, with a thank you, then I'm done.
Thank you very much, Ron, and thank you to all of you for coming to the ECGI annual lecture. You can visit us on ecgi.global, and there are videos and other recordings of the proceedings. The annual meeting next year is scheduled to be at the University of Mannheim, so we hope to see many of you there again. And now we have some sandwiches and refreshments served outside for people to continue talking about anything that was raised this morning or anything else. So thank you very much, and have a very good weekend.